There we are. I was pushing the wrong buttons.
Hi, Troy.
Hey, hi, Wendy. So we are live on the Troy Show. Um, I think Restream has a whole new setup, so I'm like pushing buttons and things. So everyone forgive me, you know. So I'm not an expert at some of this stuff here, but today we have an excellent show, and we have Wendy Wilder, and she is doing some interesting stuff. I met Wendy probably, I want to say, what was it, 2, 3 months ago?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were talking, and I was telling you about my new venture, my application for LinkedIn called SKOOP. It's SKOOP, and I said, yeah, I'm trying to do A, B, and C. And she goes, well, how's your customer journey? And then I looked at her like a deer in the headlights. And I said, maybe I should kind of learn about that. If I have a product or I have a service, what is that customer journey? Where are they at? How do they respond? How do you move from one type of audience to another, or the same audience for different locations where they're more receptible to pick up your service or your product? And so we have Wendy Wilder here. So I think she does excellent work, and had a great conversation. And I'm here to learn like everyone else. Why don't you tell the audience what you have going on? And while you're doing that, I'm going to check my phone to make sure the streaming stuff does work, because sometimes it doesn't.
Okay. Thank you so much, Troy, for the introduction. I have a digital strategy model called Base 3, and I use it with my clients. To give you a little bit of background about me, I've been more on the technical side of building digital brands, and just recently, over the past few years, started to focus on marketing. And what I saw is that there is a gap in technology
Mm-hmm.
that will connect the the customer to the client in terms of the data that you can collect.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I sat back and tried to come up with a model that could be used by any business. And we can talk more about that later, but
Sure.
it's called Base 3. And
Mm-hmm.
what it does is it helps you map out your customer journey and
We're
make sure.
all about learning base 3 today. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I think
yes.
that's if you know stuff that I don't, that's one reason why you're a guest speaker, because if I don't understand it, then maybe there are other guests and people out there that have that same gap of knowledge that you can fill.
Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Awesome. So you put together. Let's just start with the premise here. So I have an application, and we're going to use that for a demo. But the path is very similar no matter what. For everyone else, I'm Troy Hippolito. I'm known as a not so boring LinkedIn guy. But before I was a not so boring LinkedIn guy, um, I built a lot of games and gamification. And so my mother is, I'm giving you, I'm prefacing this. My mother is from Switzerland, and my father's Filipino. So she's like blonde hair, green eyes. My dad's like really Asian, and this what happens, right? And I said, since I built a lot of games, I was known as the #1 Swissipino game designer in the world, right? So that was my bar pickup line, to be honest with you. And I always loved creating applications and systems. And I got into LinkedIn because I built systems to kind of slow date for the data for the business process, right? I don't want to get too much into that, but I found that there was a gap in how people communicated on LinkedIn, and they had a lot of problems converting. And so we build systems to do that. But one major gap that we saw was in the LinkedIn direct messages, and they weren't converting well at all because of all the spam and the automation and things like that. So we came up with an application to fill in that gap with candid video. So the idea is, if you have a few lines of text, a little video, and the video is labeled properly, it's kind of a sandwich. So you have context and then a visual in the middle, and you're able to communicate better and convert better by being human. So there's a lot of features in it, and you can do instant video, you can do screen recording, you can have video of different sizes, you can have pre-recorded messages that go before the video, you can have animated GIFs, you can download videos, upload videos, and create it for content, use the videos for DMs, and then use it for content. So if you have a comment and of posts on LinkedIn, you can actually have a video in the comments as well. And so it's very, very flexible. We found out that using this method properly, just on welcome messages, I was able to convert 20% of every message into a vetted booked meeting. And that's a
That's
big
a
deal.
great percentage.
Oh yeah. Well, you have to be very specific, and and the thing is, people don't take time. I'm just going to type a message in, right? And I said, well, no one reads long messages, and so you want to have a visual and just keep it very brief and have the video explain it. And we found out that if you write a message about what you want to talk about, and if it's for that individual, it's quicker to do it my way. It's quicker to have 1 or 2 or 3 lines of text, do a quick 20-second video, and label it with their name and talk to them about it, and really personalize it. So it saves time, and it also helps conversion. So before I did this method, the typical conversion rate for these one-off, having a one-off video versus just a regular message, I think it was like 3 or 5%, something around there, conversion compared to a 20%. Now it's not a 20%. I'm looking at the message. It's 20% conversion to a vetted booked meeting, because they took a look at the video. They make a decision if they want to continue that conversation or book time with you or send your booking link or whatever. And you put the onus on them, and it converts very well. So I came up with the idea a while back, but what I didn't think about, and this is where you come in, is I didn't think about how to market it. So we have this awesome piece of software that we're adding new stuff to all the time. It works on LinkedIn, it works on Gmail, and then in a few days, it'll work everywhere, and it'll have screen recording and all that stuff to it. But I said, how do I market this to the masses? So the first thing I thought about is distributors. And there's a lot of people that say they distribute, but not many of them do it well. We found out. And so I said, well, maybe we should understand the path of how to build our own distribution model, because even if we use a distributor, we can kind of vet that process a little bit to make sure they're actually doing something and they're putting some effort towards everyone's success. So that's kind of where the idea came from. It was launched SKOOP was launched about 5 weeks ago, and I think we have about 100 users on it so far. So I think what we should do is check. I don't see if there's a little chat here. This interface complete. Oh, we got people in the chat. We got Caesar, Rise and Shine. We got Sue. When strategy is brilliant, can't wait to see how it works. Real life case study. Yes. A LinkedIn user, just a yes. A couple of happy faces, and Shane saying hi, Wendy.
Shout out to Shane. He's a classmate of mine from when I was young. Hi, Shane.
Oh, great. I think we're connected. His face looks familiar. If not, he is a doppelganger somewhere, and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to ask from the audience is, please go ahead and ask questions. And since we're kind of setting this up now, and if you have any questions about anything that any of us are saying, put it in there. And every once in a while, we'll stop. We'll take a look at the chat, and then we'll go ahead and reply and answer your questions there. One other thing I wanted to do, and I should have did at the beginning, is, Wendy, where are you located at exactly?
I am located in Mill Valley, California, which, if you're not familiar with where that is, I'm just over the Golden Gate Bridge north of San Francisco, a few miles. I can be on the bridge in 3 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
So you get the sight of the water and all that. Can you see the water from where you're at?
I can see the water if I turn my head to the left.
Oh,
I'm right on the water, which is
so
amazing.
and I would like to see where everyone else is at as well. I'm in Las Vegas. It is hot as HELL here. it was 120 degrees last week, and it's busting 120 for the last, I think, 2 weeks. So besides the heat, it's pretty nice here. Besides that one little bit there. So if everyone wants to put in where they're at and that sort of thing, and we'll see a look at it in the chat. So Wendy, do you want me to put up that set of slides?
Yeah, sure. And while you're doing that, I'll say that it's a very common thing that you're experiencing
Oh,
as an entrepreneur, that you saw a problem, you created a solution, and you're using that solution yourself. And the next step is, how do you get it out to people? And oftentimes, when you come from a technical background, you don't have marketing training and you don't know how to take advantage of everything that is out there and available. And the same is the case, what I found from people who have a marketing background. They don't have the technical understanding that you have. And so that's the gap that I saw when I first started trying to solve that problem. And phase 3 is the solution to that problem. And
well, we
I,
do have a comment from Christine, and she's asking if we're sponsored by Adidas.
oh yeah, no, we're twinsing today.
Yeah, yeah. So we're
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 twinsing
dressing like
today.
brother and sister today, but Adidas is not giving us any money. No,
No,
no.
no,
So we
we're
got a couple people in New York. We got a couple people in Southeast Maine. We got everywhere. A person in is dropping down too quickly. So it seems like we got people from everywhere. Sorry, I didn't mean to
that's great.
interrupt. I saw
Yeah,
that
no
comment
problem.
come up. But you're
No
absolutely
problem.
right. I know a little bit about marketing on LinkedIn, but this is just specific to getting clients, increasing business. It's not really designed for reaching out to a larger audience and that sort of thing. And so services and products are a little bit different, where products are a lower cost and a service is more of a white glove, higher end cost, but you can get fewer clients. And so creating this system here, they both can have similar systems, but this is where I felt like it was very difficult for me to say the least, And so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and flip this around. And so this is the set of slides here. And it's really showing base 3 model, which is a journey on it. And my slides are first. So should I go ahead and tell you what I was planning and I put this together? And you could kind of tell me, Troy, you did it totally wrong. And I'm okay. So,
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead. I mean, you already talked a little bit about your amazing app, and I just wanted to say that what I have done is I have responded to the connection, some of my connections who are attending with video, and it was so much fun. So I
oh,
can't wait
good. I'm glad
forward
you
to
like
seeing
it.
you tomorrow. Yeah, so I really enjoy using Scoop.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great when other people like it, because sometimes it reinsures you because we put our heart and soul into whatever it is that we're doing. And we're like, is this really helpful? Because you get kind of caught in the weeds. So thank you very much. So I'll just spend a minute on this. This was my idea before I met you. I said I want to attract, interact, convert, and then maybe take it offline or, one-on-one type of scenario. But one thing that I do have is I have this monthly live event. I think we have close to 500 people registered. I have other podcasts. I was just on a podcast before here, and we talked about Scoop, and then LinkedIn and that sort of thing. I have partnership meetings for potential distributors and affiliates. I have LinkedIn direct messages plus email campaigns, and I have an email blast. So those are kind of the instruments that I have on that. And so the next slide really talks about like numbers, and all these numbers are not equal. So on the monthly live event, these are the stats we get: 400 to 700 registrants on something that we target. Email blast about 3,000 people. I send 3 emails out. That's about 10,000 a month, 2 to 3,000 views. So once we have a live, we have a LinkedIn live, we have the replays. And so we end up having about 3,000, 2 or 3,000 views on that. And then the comments, we have about 100 or 200 comments on that. and then some direct messages for everyone who are able to send a potential message, a thank you, or if you missed it, check it out type stuff. And then with Restream, we have and if you're using StreamYard, it's the same thing. What goes on my YouTube channel, goes on my Facebook, my X, and Wendy, you have a couple of channels on it as well, right?
For my business?
Well, for this event here, didn't you add a couple of
Oh, yes, yes. Also, I think I'm streaming on YouTube and X
and LinkedIn?
and LinkedIn. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
And
right.
so this is all streaming out live on these channels at once. And then so that's the kind of the guest speakers on that. And then we have the direct messages. If per account, we can send, about 150 to 200 messages out a day. And that includes, other things like email. So we're thinking about adding 5 accounts, like my account, and then, 4 the other people working with me. So we can get like at least 20,000 messages out a month. So the other thing are distributors stuff I can't really calculate, email blasts and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of my makeup with what I have to start with. And and we did 6 months estimates. I'm the lowest line here. I'm the red one. So by myself, I think I should be able to get it to about 6 grand. I mean, about 10 grand a month, which is not a lot, right? But these are other distributors. And if I had a distributor in 5 or 6 months, I would expect them to bring about 50K a month and on recurring sales. So that's kind of what I put together on this. I don't think there's, and this is the development process is not so important. We can go back to that later on. But we're constantly updating the software. So now we're talking about this base 3 model. And I'll go ahead and zoom in on this and let me know if we can hear you. Um, can you hear me, Wendy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are
Okay,
you able to
great.
hear me?
So that's what I have. I don't know if that's a good start, a bad start, or better than nothing. So tell me your opinion on what I've just provided you.
Yeah, that's a great start, Troy. And whenever I'm meeting with my clients, that's the first thing we do is sit down and take a look at where have you been, where did you
Mhm.
start, and where are you right now? And what are all of the different platforms and technologies that you're using? Because that helps me sort of put together a picture and it gives me the ability to then identify where the gaps might be. Um,
Mhm.
and I I got some of that information in advance, just so everyone knows. Troy and I have had a few conversations, and what I did is I went and took a look at everything, and I did find some areas where there are some gaps that will help
Great.
him if he fills them in. So we're going to talk about that. Uh,
Okay.
so Phase 3 is a model that I created, as I mentioned, to help you map out your customer's journey. And one thing that's important to think about is it's not just about getting that initial contact and getting that initial sale. It's about maintaining a relationship with your client after they become your customer,
Mhm.
because that's when you can meet their friends and that's how you experience exponential sales. And as you know, Troy, and anyone who's started a business or is running a business, it takes a lot of energy, time, and expense to get that first customer in or that second customer
Oh my
in.
goodness. It is extremely painful.
And when
I
you're
did
doing
not
one at a
I don't know if
time,
that I don't know if that was the right word, but I spend 30 hours a week just for bug checking and talking to our initial 100 clients and seeing what works, what doesn't work, because we want to launch a product, but we want to get it as perfect as possible and add features that will make them want to, like you say, want to stay and tell other people about it. But it is very time consuming.
yes, it takes a lot of time to get someone to make that purchase. And once you've gone through all that effort, you want to make sure that you're thinking of them as a potential advocate for your business. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Do you mind going on to that next slide?
Sure.
So people ask me, what is the 3 in base 3? And I will explain that the 3 is the 3 certainties in digital marketing. So as we
Oh.
know, things are always changing. And that is why people feel a little nervous about digital marketing. They don't know, should I do social media? Should I have a blog? Should I run ads? How do I know? And the platforms are always changing. The algorithms are always changing. So when I decided to solve this challenge that I saw, I wanted to find out what are the things that will not change. And
Mm.
what I found were these three items.
So
One of
where's
the
the base means foundation? Is that
Yes,
where it came from? Okay, I'm guessing
foundation.
here. And
Yes.
the 3 is the 3 main thing. Got it, got it.
Yes. So number one is that humans make decisions using about the same process we have for hundreds of thousands of years. Number
Oh,
two is algorithms are intentionally aligned with that decision-making process. So for example, Google has an entire division of engineers that study human decision-making. So when you're trying to alter your content or modify your content for the algorithms, what you really need to be doing is altering your content for your customer. And all of the platforms will tell you that in their documentation.
mhm.
Learn how your customer thinks, learn what your customer is looking for.
Curious on the algorithm, so the customer decision journey may change based on, I don't know, trends and technology and all these different things. So that means the algorithm will also change, right?
Yes, well, we're going to talk about that in a moment, what the customer decision-making process is, and we
Mhm.
all do it every day, hundreds of
Mm.
times. So we'll talk about that next. So the third certainty is that we have communication channels available to us to communicate with our customers, and they may change over
Mhm.
time, but they are available.
Got
And
it.
so these are the three certainties in digital marketing, and they are and can be the base of any campaign that you want to put in place. And so that's what base three is.
The
And then,
customer journey, algorithms, and communication channels.
yes. And
Got
then
it.
go to the next slide,
Mhm.
please. So let's talk a little bit about the customer decision-making process. So I can't point at the screen, can I? So here we have, you often will see a sales funnel in the shape of a funnel where it's narrow at the
Right.
bottom. But what I'm trying to show is that actually when you use that visual, it puts the most important people, your paying customers, at the bottom and really tiny. And
Mm.
they're the ones that you want to be focusing on, because if they like you, they enjoy working with you, they feel like you have a great product or a great service, they're going to tell their friends about you. So
Right.
I'm changing the shape of the sales funnel to reflect that.
It's more of
Um,
an hourglass type of
yes,
deal.
yes. So let's talk about the decision-making journey.
Mhm.
At the top, we have the discovery level. These are the level titles that I have decided on. In the discovery level, people are just out there living their lives.
Mhm.
And when we're thinking about digital strategy, we are also defining them as people who don't have any connection to you at all. They haven't been to your website. They haven't
Mhm.
see, interacted with you on any of your platforms. They're just out there. And when
I'm
you're
so
trying to,
sorry, Wendy. I'm gonna have to ask because my ADD will kick in.
sure, no
Um,
problem.
so let's figure out so I understand the so this is the customer journey, right?
Yes.
What is
Mhm.
this, the July because I haven't seen this before, the July population. What does this
Okay.
mean?
So
And then
that
what is
column,
this? There's 3 it seems like there's 3 sections here, that's why.
yes, that column on the right is how many people are in that level this month for you. And as a business owner, these are the numbers, these are the highest level numbers that you should be paying attention to. So in the discovery level, there are a lot of different ways you can calculate that, but the best
Mhm,
way that I find is if you go to your ads manager account or your LinkedIn ads manager account, you
mhm,
can set up um, a co- um, a target audience based on the requirements that you have in mind. and it will
Mm-hmm.
tell you how many people are fit within that description.
So this population goes with Discovery. Are they in queue,
Yes,
or they're just different? Okay. So this is in Discovery. This is the total population I could be targeting based on an ads manager on LinkedIn. For it does a search and saying
that's right.
who's your ICP, who's your ideal customer profile, and saying this is your total amount of customer profile people within a certain segment. Okay.
Yes.
Got
So what I did is I put in the filter of United States,
it. Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. These are,
Mm-hmm.
this is on LinkedIn, United States sales or marketing professionals. And this is the number. So
Okay,
that
this
kind
is
of gives you an idea.
specific then. Okay, I got it.
So then people will identify, oh, I have a problem or I have this desire. So the next thing they do is they start searching for a solution to their problem.
Mhm,
And that's when they're in the consideration level because they're starting to look at their options. And from your perspective as a business owner, those are people who have engaged with you in some way. Maybe they found your website. Maybe they
mhm,
did a search on TikTok and they found you.
mhm.
They have engaged with you in some way. And what that means is that there is at least one data point connecting you to that customer. And from the numbers that you have, it's somewhere around 45,000 people per month.
Yeah, I wish they would all buy.
Right.
All my
Right.
problems all my pro all my problems would be solved.
Yes, yes. That would be
Or if they just gave me $1 a month each. So, speaking of that, that gives a harsh reality that, how much work that has to be done in order to close a sale.
yes.
Because if 4,500 people knew of me and they liked me enough, they don't like me enough to give me $1. That's really something to consider. So you have to do a lot of work and then get a smaller portion of that number, I would imagine.
Yes. And when you think about all of the effort that you've put in to getting out there, and
Hmm.
there are still millions of people that you haven't reached, you start to think, okay, this is a big job. I need help. And doing one person at a time, reaching out to one person at a time is sometimes that's how you have to start, but
Yeah.
at some point you need to start doing something like running ads, which I know
Yeah.
you're not
So
doing
right
at the
now
moment.
it's hand to hand combat.
That's
That's what
right.
it is.
And
And you're taking 30, 40 meetings a week, and then some say, "Well, I don't want to put my card in there." I said, "Well, how are you going to buy it?" It's like because you go through all these like blockers sometimes, or and you try to find a way around that. So definitely something I don't want to do forever, but it's okay for the first 100 or 2 people.
yeah, well, and a lot of times when you're just launching, you don't have a budget for running ads. What you have is your time,
Yeah.
and you are the one who knows your product best. And so it makes sense that you start out the way you have, which is what most people do.
Okay.
So then we talk about, so we have people become aware of their problem.
Hmm.
They're in the discovery level when that happens. They start doing some research and considering their options. That's the consideration level. And there is a data point connecting you to them, which means you can reach out to them through ads on
Hmm.
whatever platform they connected you with,
Hmm.
or you might have a contact with them on LinkedIn, or they're following you, or you can reach out to them personally.
Hmm.
So what you need to do now is get people to go from the consideration level, being aware of you, to getting closer to making a decision. And it's important that you have a way of determining who is at that level. And you can know that by you look at your analytics on your website. You can see how many people have come to your website.
Right.
Those people are considering you, or they wouldn't have gone to the effort of clicking and going to your website. But also, you need to have another way of tracking this. And so what you should have, I know we talked about this, you don't have a CRM right now that you're using. And the advantage of a CRM, can you switch to the next slide, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So over on the right here is a screenshot of a contact in one of my clients' CRMs. And this is HubSpot. There are other CRMs that do the same thing. You can see at the very bottom that this contact was created from a particular ad. So when you have a CRM in place, you can see how that person came to your website and what they did when they were on your website. In this case, they filled out a form called Find My Class. And this is sort of an intermediary step that they give people. Maybe people aren't ready to buy right now, but they want to get additional information. So when someone has filled out that form, that's when we know, okay, this person is in that decision level. They're seriously considering taking a class. And so they get this special category. And because they filled out that form, we then have their contact information, which we didn't have.
So they basically opt in, and they said, I'm interested in A, B, and C. And so they're showing that they're in that consideration stage, I would imagine.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And then also a CRM will tell you what pages they visited. And all of these different activities that they're taking, you can then create a list and run an email marketing campaign or even run an ad to those people. So it's really beneficial to have a CRM in place that allows you to do that.
Yeah, we have something similar. We have some systems for LinkedIn, but it's not a true CRM. And we do have, just for starting out, spreadsheets to know where they are at in a decision-making, in their decision-making journey. But it's really towards everything, whether it be a white label client, high-end per dollar a month versus maybe the client. And so one thing I've done was, I'll go ahead and switch to it, but I have to get the other. I'm in the process of adding like 4 other accounts for, marketing purposes. So I have a little bit of volume, and we're using Zapier to pull data into spreadsheet, which we could use that same data to a CRM. But we're in that kind of in between stage where we have to do one thing at a time to make sure the messages are going out properly and getting enough conversions on that,
That's right. So let's go back to the previous slide. Thank you.
Oh, and Bob Britt says his meeting ran over. He apologizes. I'm guessing you know Bob, or do I know Bob? I don't know.
Oh,
It's okay, Bob. And
Bob.
Nathan's all the way in the Philippines. All right, my people. All right.
Yes. Oh, shout out to Nathan. He's my personal assistant and he's amazing. He keeps me running. And this morning from Not Panicking. Thank you, Nathaniel. You're amazing. Okay, so we're back at this slide and notice I have a question mark here in the decision level. Right now, you don't have the ability to identify who those people are so that you can nurture them into actually making a purchase. So this is a big gap that I see. And that's an opportunity, really, because you can put something in place that will help you nurture those people who are very close to making a decision. So continuing down the decision process, once someone has made a decision to buy your product, they're looking for validation that it was a good decision. And depending on your product, like if you're building a website, it could be several months before it's done. So that validation process is really long. It could be instant gratification. If someone is purchasing something that they can use right away, they will know within moments if they are happy or not with the product. So at this point, it's really important for you as the business owner to make sure that they feel validated in their decision. And it's different for every business. It depends on what you're selling or what your product is. But
Hmm.
that's super important because if they do feel like it was a good decision, then that's when they'll tell their friends.
Hmm.
And it's important to keep in mind that a customer is going to tell their friends about you, not to help you so much, but because they feel like they made a good decision and they're promoting their decision.
Mm. Yeah,
And,
I see that now. Yeah.
and so when they do that, when they say, hey, you should try this app, you should try Scoop, it's really important that you keep in mind that it's their reputation that they are putting in your hands. And
Very good point. Yeah, very good point. I can tell you one thing, where my journey is right now, is that we for the first 100 clients, it's all about getting the information back to make the next 100 people have better validation. And so there's so many different things that we didn't even think about, because when I bug test, I can only find about 95%. There's also a few 4% of stuff that you can't do. But then there's also things that come up where I would have never saw it, like I would never have thought about it. And one of the things is the purchase flow that we have to readjust so we get more people in the door. And because right now it requires a card to hold. It won't charge the card, but people are a little finicky about that, even in a low end purchase. So we want to go ahead and let them get in without putting a card in, and maybe put a timer on it. But that free 10 days that we give everyone, full access to it, and then unlimited storage and unlimited everything on it. How The one thing that I'm learning now is, how do I get them to start using it right away? And
yeah,
for me, it's really easy, but I'm more of a technical person. And I was told that, well, in the product, you have to make it really easy. I create videos, and a lot of people don't even know the videos are there. They won't question, they won't even click on the question mark to get the videos, right? And so we're thinking about putting a little pop up saying, hey, let's make your first video, and actually walking them through the process. The other thing that we're doing is meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays for group meetings for anything under the sun that has to do with Scoop, including things like how to become an affiliate, how to do something from this scenario. I'll walk through the product, get me, install the product properly on my Chrome browser, whatever it is. And so we're now understanding those things, because we would have never thought of that unless we had these meetings anyway in the first place. So it's like me meeting you and meeting other people that are product design experts for better flow. So that validation process seems to be super important, because in general, if someone else toots your horn, they talk good about you, it's 10 times more valuable saying, hey, look at me, look how good I am. That's not that valuable. What's valuable is someone else saying it's a good product, and that is part of that validation there.
and one thing that and I've had a number of conversations with you now, Troy, and one thing that is really clear about you that I have observed is you really care about people a lot. That comes through in everything that you say. And the fact that you're having these free trainings after someone purchases the app, and you're really doing your best to make sure that they have a good experience and that they're able to use it to help themselves grow their business. I mean, that comes from a place that you have inside of you that you want to help people. And that really comes through in everything that
Oh,
you do.
thank you very much. Let me, I'll be bluntly honest, and it's probably not the nicest thing to say, but um, in order to be successful, the math is you have to help other people. So even if I wasn't like the nice guy, I would still do it. It's just good business. So I think that people who are running business, they want to do the bare minimum. Those are the ones that are not going to be successful. And so you have to care about what you do, and you have to look at the end result, the other individual using the product, and care about them, and have them actually care about you. So the best thing that I hear, because sometimes I get bogged down. Trust me, this is a brand new launch. So I'm not even operating on all my cylinders, so to speak. But when someone comes and says to me, "Hey, Troy, this product actually works really well," and that makes me feel really good because it's reinforcing my efforts that I'm putting into this, because there's a lot of money that I'm not making because I'm putting time into this right now. But I see this product um, will grow into something bigger and grow into a society or a group or whatever it is that actually helps people. And so I'm out for the bigger payout later, you know? And so I will sacrifice my time and do what I can to improve those things. So I always think that helping other people is just good business.
Well, and also, that also reflects who you are as a person too. And I'll mention something right now. Everyone who starts a business needs to go through the exercise of identifying what is their mission, what are their values as a company, who are they? And that's really important, because when that resonates with people, that's when your customer is going to feel that connection, feel like,
Mhm.
yes, I trust this person with my reputation. And if I recommend them, they're going to do a good job.
Yeah.
So it's important to go through that exercise. It's not just marketing fluff. It is really important to
I'm
help you.
sorry, Wendy. There is a couple people asking questions. I'm sorry to interrupt
Sure,
you,
yeah, go ahead.
but they asked a question a couple minutes ago, and I
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
like give
We're just
like,
having too
yeah,
much
I asked
fun.
that like 10
Good
minutes ago. We
conversation.
already have a 20-second delay on it too. So when the message comes up, it's already like 30 seconds over. So Charles asked, can you see the questions, by the way?
I can see just the top questions. I don't see all of them.
Oh, there's a little chat on the right, so you should be able to see the. So Charles is asking, how does one discern whether or not they're validating you?
Okay, that's a very good question. And that's the next step that we're going to talk about in the human decision-making process.
Oh, okay. Do you
So,
want to talk about that right now, or do I need
yeah,
to
yeah, we can talk
switch
about it right
screens?
now. So you need to set up something in your system that triggers, yes, this person is someone who can promote us.
Mhm.
And sometimes it could be, when the project is over, you do an exit interview and ask them how it went. And then some people have an automated, uh, will you review us, that goes out after they made a purchase. That's an action that you need to initiate or have in place in your process, so that it indicates to you, yes, this person is in that, they're past validating whether or not it was a good decision.
Mhm.
And then you can get that feedback of whether they will become your advocate or not.
Well,
So,
one thing I'm doing on, and this is a very small scale, but I'll apply this on maybe 5 or 6 accounts. Um, one of my messages lets them know that I'm an entrepreneur and I built this thing and I'm testing it out and I want your feedback. In exchange, I'll, instead of the 10 days, I'll give them 30 days and a discount forever moving forward. And that actually strikes some interest a lot of times. And that's one of the things that helped me get a few clients per account per week, because then they're actively involved and giving me feedback. And that's how I finished my other 5% bug testing, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to find, hey, I have this problem with this browser or with my camera and this is happening. I'm like, I don't have the problem. So I would have never found that feedback out unless I got it from that individual that's having the issue.
um, let's see if they'll opt into an extra gift for their engagement. Yeah, you want to be creative in how you determine whether or not someone is a good candidate for promoting you, or whether they will or they won't.
Yeah.
And sometimes they might say, or you might learn that they were unhappy with your product. But if you handle that in a good way, they still might end up promoting you because they're impressed with the way you handled something that went wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And by the way, I am not sponsoring Mountain Dew. I'm just a Mountain Dew junkie. So no Adidas, no Mountain Dew. Um,
I grew up
I
in
did have.
Minnesota. A lot of Mountain Dew
Oh, is
drinkers
it?
there, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like worst drink ever. It's like, but it's so addictive. Um, I'll say this: that there were a few client. There were out of 100, there's three that dropped off, right? And they gave very specific reasons on why. For example, there was a bug, but the problem was they couldn't verbalize what it was because sometimes it's a technical issue, right?
Hmm.
And I had to dig in deep and I solved the issue. And so previously I only worked on LinkedIn and Gmail, and now it's going to work everywhere. But the thing is, when I was recording the screen, it would show up on another screen or another browser if they had that open. And I wouldn't, it didn't happen to me, but it happens to some people. And so they said, well, I really can't use it because of this thing, because I have my camera over here and my monitor, my laptop over. We had a particular setup situation, and we were able to solve that. And they'll probably jump back on after it's resolved. But the thing is, they say they want to know that they're heard.
Right.
So there's always bugs of in a particular scenario, and I think is if you try to address them, if it's addressable, then you go on. Of course, you do have issues where it does your Chrome, because the whole application right now is encased into a Chrome extension. Then you have people saying it doesn't work on my Internet Explorer or something. You can't do anything about that because
Yeah.
that's not even supported anymore, or they don't connect and stuff like that. But if you can resolve it, I always try to do that. There are two other questions I see. Bob is asking, how many clients in the US do you have currently enrolled into your program? I don't know if you're talking about base 3 or SKOOP. um, so you go ahead and answer yours first? I know that you moved from UI UX and IT development type of scenarios into this base 3 model. How does your business work?
So you're correct. I've been building websites for, gosh, 20 years now.
Hmm.
And I've been using this model to help me identify what content needs to be on the websites. And I've also been using it with my clients who they've they're ready to launch and they're starting to market their business. Or clients who come to me just with marketing disasters and they need help getting started. And like you, it's new. I
Mm.
started using it about 1 year ago,
Hmm.
and I've been refining it. And it's at a place now where I feel like I've mostly,
It's productized almost, huh?
yes, yes.
It's ready for the world.
It's ready for the world. I published Digital Blitz last, it hasn't been quite a year, so not even a year since I published the book about it. And I've done a lot of trainings. I don't know, there are probably several hundred businesses that are now using Base 3 to help them guide their marketing.
And base 3 is your brand, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, very good, very good. As far as SKOOP is concerned, it's been live for 5 or 6 weeks, and I have about 100 users. So we just launched it. It's literally like we're just putting systems together right as we speak. So hopefully that answers. But I think he was probably asking more about your stuff. We also have Ed here. Well, Charles Chad. He got like 4 names.
I think
Uh,
he's referring to Charles Chad Donahue as my client. Hi,
oh,
Jared.
okay. I was like, what's going on here? So
Yes,
so
we're
that's a
building a website
testament.
for Chad.
Video converts better than text. So why this guy got 5 names? And he says, see, they'll opt into an extra gift for their engagement. So there you go. Oh, both products. Okay. Yeah. So Bob, as far as mine is concerned, mine's pretty simple. I ask one question: how much is a client worth? Is it worth more than subscription? Then you get value in it. And so the audience, there's about a billion, like with a B, a billion registered members on LinkedIn, and probably about 70% are solopreneur to small businesses, and then and probably about 60 to 50% are B2B, related. So the market for that is huge, especially in direct sales or marketing. But it doesn't really matter if you have a service-based product or business, service-based service, then you could use that. So the potential is large. Again, I'm just kind of starting out. Thank you for asking, Bob.
So let's see. Oh, we just have 10 minutes left. Time's going by so fast.
Oh my goodness.
9 minutes.
Okay. Well, let's do this. For the people who want to copy these slides, just go ahead and type in slides, SLIDS, and we'll get back to you. And the people who I actually have a giveaway, I have a daily LinkedIn process guide. If you want that, just type in guide. And another thing too is we have an opt-in link. Lisa, could you add that link to it? And I think it's let me see here. Is it the base3model.com?
Yes,
So,
that's the URL.
yeah. So Lisa, if you could add that URL on there, that would be great. I think it was like www.base3model.com/scoop-linkedin-live-event/. So tell us about that link so people can kind of understand a little bit about that process, and then we'll move on for questions and the rest of the presentation.
Do you mind going to the next slide?
Sure.
We kind of talked about the decision journey. One more, because we talked about this one already. So this is how I use this chart. I call it the periodic table of digital marketing elements. I use this to map out a campaign. This is the customer journey for today's event. And everyone who's here watching this.
Oh, you are here. I see it.
You are here. Yeah, that's right. And so when you're having any sort of an event, you're attending an event, a networking event, you want to have a plan in advance for what you want to happen next. So ideally, you have a QR code on your business card or a link somewhere on a website. It just depends on the setup, where people can go to that link and give you their information so that you have it. So if anyone will click on that link that we're putting in the chat, you can go there right now. Just take a moment, plug in your information, and automatically an email will be sent to you containing links to SKOOP, as well as additional information about Base3 model.
Yeah, and if Lisa's not able to put it in there, as soon as this event's over, we'll put the link in the chat ourselves. So if Lisa, you could do that, it'd be great. I think it was the #1 item that I sent to you previously. So basically, it's an opt-in, and they can opt in for us to really send them information more about it. So we'll send all this stuff over to you guys if you log into that. Another thing we're going to do, we'll send out messages after the event, maybe through LinkedIn, with that link, and they can opt in and stuff like that. And usually what I would do here is I would let people know there's an event later on as well. And so Lisa, on #8, I'll go ahead and send it on the chat later on after this event. But if you can do it, we have this next event that's coming up in about a month. So I have like events every week, but I only market like certain events because we need probably a 3 or 4 week runway to build up the audience. And the next event is really about creating a daily process. And SKOOP is actually part of that process, but you can use other things as well. So we'll go ahead and add those links there. But Wendy, we do have a few more minutes. I do see how you circled these items. Do you want to talk about this? Because this is really the journey. And so I'm looking at the 4 columns on the right. Could you just give a brief explanation of those items those places and then why you circled them and areas why you did not?
Yeah, sure. So this part of the chart is a grid showing the different channels that most businesses are using. Your
Hmm.
website, your have a sales page, email marketing, social media, and etc. And so the way that I use this is we look at, okay, starting at the top, the discovery level,
Hmm.
how are we going to get people to learn about, whatever this campaign is? And then we start to map out the touch points. Each of these numbers represents a touch point. So
Got it.
at the very top, we have channel 14 is social media posting for the discovery level. So
Hmm.
you and I have been promoting this for a couple of weeks now and leading people to the event.
Hmm.
And then what we are hoping people will do is they will go back to your website or my website and sign up. And
Hmm.
so what I do with my clients is we mark this all out. So we're thinking about their entire decision-making journey, not just to the sale, because what happens after is so much more important, actually. And I did one for you too, and I know we're out of time, but if you go to the next slide, I created oh, sorry, this is how you can use the numbers in production. You can create a
Okay,
grid
got
for
it.
the
Yeah,
channel.
totally get it. Yeah. Next
So
slide.
next slide
Okay.
is da, 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 scoop strategy. So what I
Oh,
recognize for you, Troy, is you are so amazing at creating content. My recommendation is that you publish that content first on your website and then share it to LinkedIn, because then you're getting that SEO on your website,
oh, I
um,
see.
and you're
Yeah,
using,
you're referring to like the blog functionality, something that can be
yeah,
updated all the time. Well, long story short, I agree with you, but they probably have to be two different things. You can't share stuff on LinkedIn because the algorithm runs it against you. But I understand what you're saying. We should use the website as a major channel, and then also point to LinkedIn for additional details. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that.
and something we didn't talk about specifically is you need to have tracking codes on your website from the
Hmm.
different platforms so that LinkedIn will know, hey, who's gone to your website. And that helps them understand the interests of their user base.
Right, right. Well, thank you very much. This strategy will be published. So tomorrow, what we'll end up doing is posting these slides as a post and then letting people know it's there. One other thing too is if anyone's interested in Scoop, SKOOP, just type in Scoop in there, and then I'll send you a discount code to give it a try. It might be something of interest to you, especially if you use LinkedIn to build relationships. Wendy, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me see if I can get you back there. There you are. Um,
Thanks
there's
so
so
much,
many.
Trey. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed our conversation.
it's been awesome. Thank you very much. And if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to put it in the chat because we're about to go back to the chat today and start answering questions. All right, thank you, and have a great day.
Bye, everyone.